TP will like that. San Antonio Spurs. Jeremy Sohan is legit. I think they have 3 cornerstones, arguably 4 if they can keep Pirtle, but Devin Vassell's their shooting guard. Kellen Johnson's their small forward, and their power forward, Jeremy Sohan. And they either have a guy who's going to be one of the best, one of the best backup point guards in the NBA, or an above average starting point guard, and Trey Jones. What do you think of the San Antonio Spurs? You think they're a team that's improved as much as I do?
I love the Spurs. And speaking of Trey Jones, he was averaging – I was watching that game last night, and the announcers, first thing they said was Trey's been averaging 20 over our last 5, and he had another good game last night. So Trey's, even starting to take that scoring jump. I love this San Antonio Spurs team, and I think it's hard to really understand that until you watch a Spurs game. Devin Vassell, I know he's injured, but he's having a solid season. Jakob Poeltl.
Zach Collins is the Mike Muscala of this group.
Yeah, I'm not a big Zach Collins fan because I
love him.
Knows him, says he's a DB, but Jakob Poeltl, you're right. As the days go on, it seems like Jakob Poeltl would probably love to be back with the San Antonio Spurs, and they have even nice vets, but Keldon Johnson is taking that franchise centerpiece role perfectly, and this man was a stud last night. I think he put up mid-20 points in the second half yesterday. They kept throwing Royce O'Neal on him, and it was not working. It was not working out at all. And they weren't even double teaming him. And
36 points for Keldon.
Double at the end of the game. So, he's a dog, and he's taking that leap. And speaking of Sohan, he'll have some games where he struggles, but like last night, he was in a little bit of foul trouble, but he scored 16 and a half. So the potential's there with Sohan, and I like that Pop is playing him. What was he drafted? 9th? So
yeah,
you don't see that too much. So a rookie Spur starting.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. A rookie Spur is starting, like actually getting minutes. Like, look at Malachi Brannan and Blake Wesley. Like, Malachi played 20 minutes tonight, but Blake Wesley's coming back from a torn MCL. Malachi, it took him a while to break into the rotation. Yeah. And Malachi, it's the 3-point shot that isn't falling for him right now, but he shows flashes of being decent. And I don't know, I very much like Zach Collins. I do like John Collins, but Zach Collins is a guy that he's kind of like the Mike Muscala. It seems like he's 25 years old, but he comes in, plays 20 minutes a night, shoots 37% from 3, takes about like 1 or 2 threes a game, shoots 53% from the field, gives you like 9 points, 6 boards a night, and a block a game. Solid guy.
People forgot about him because of that injury, really.
Yeah, and right as we're talking, San Antonio Spurs won 2 first-round picks for Jakob Poeltl. I reported that a month or 2 ago. That's old news. And it just goes to show that, like, how highly the Spurs value Jakob Poeltl and the talent that he is. So what do you expect from the Spurs? If they get themselves Victor Wembanyama this offseason, the rebuild's over. They're back into title contention. Even if they got themselves Scoot Henderson, I think this is a team that's threatening. What do you think they're further ahead than maybe you say the Houston Rockets in their rebuild?
It's not even close, 100%, and it really isn't even close, and that's the concern. That's the issue for the Rockets. But I think not even close. I have Keldon. So I have my franchise guy. I actually don't even need Victor Wembanyama, especially if Jakob Poeltl is willing to come back. Jakob's one of those guys where he's a stud. He's efficient. It's not going to show up on the stat sheet, although it kind of does for basketball dorks. But he's not averaging, Joel Embiid numbers. So therefore he must not be valuable. Almost more valuable. Trey Jones is an interesting piece that you bring up, Scoot. I think what they're doing is they're still evaluating their young talent and deciding who do we want to move forward with. And, guys like Romeo Langford, maybe Josh Richardson and Doug McDermott get traded out at the deadline. But, I'm looking at like KBD, Zach Collins, obviously my young cats, my 3 rookies. But I think, they'll take the draft. Whatever happens in the draft, and they'll go into free agency, and they'll, use their evaluations from the season and go from there. And I'm excited because we haven't seen the San Antonio Spurs in the playoffs since 2018, 2019. It's been a couple of seasons, several seasons. And yeah, exactly. It's Thomas. What's up, Thomas? If Pop has a decent roster, you can get them playing good ball. And they got it. It certainly was not pretty last night. And I know the Nets were missing their top 2 scorers, and they went like 3 of 20 from downtown, and they had 20 plus turnovers. But at the end of the day, a win's a win. The Spurs took down the Brooklyn Nets last night. And
Ben Simmons had a triple double, and they couldn't stop.
I know, and he almost had a quadruple double with his turnovers. I wanted to talk Nets today. I'm surprised we, because they've lost 3 straight. I wanted to officially call for a Joe Harris trade, and if they don't trade Joe Harris, I'm a little worried.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would like a Joe Harris trade. You're not the only one there,
0
bud.
points last night. 0 points. And Ben Simmons was going right at Jeremy Sohan to start off the game. He took like 5 shots in the first 5 minutes.
Was he actually?
Like one of them, but yeah. And then he kind of stops that, and it's going to trend with Ben Simmons that I don't quite get. One of those days, maybe those layups will be turned into dunks, but he doesn't have that like smooth, soft touch that he used to have quite yet.
All right, let's pivot and let's talk about the most underrated sophomore, one of arguably the top 50 players in the league already. He plays for my Orlando Magic. Could you guess who it is? Could you guess who this
Cole
man?
Anthony.